Front Row MMA, here we are at Cage Warrior 72 with Nicolas Dalby, who was supposed to be making his inaugural title defense for his welterweight title tonight, but unfortunately things haven't panned out the way I think you'd want them. You got the news awful late, but you don't seem to be holding too much of a grudge. What's your views on the fact that you're not getting this fight?
Well, yeah, I got the news on Friday morning. I was almost on weight, but I got another fight booked for me. Yeah, at that moment, so maybe that's why I'm not that sad about it. Of course, I can feel now that I'm here and I see the cage, and I feel like I haven't really been able to. Now I can't get out all those weeks of training camp, and it feels a bit frustrating. But I got a new date, I got a new fight, new opponent, so I'm just trying to look at the positive.
You know, the opponent's another tough, but a very different opponent from Gael Grimaud in Mas Bahari. What does he bring to the table that what does he bring that's different to the table?
Well, of course, Mosen doesn't have the judo background that Gael does. He has a Muay Thai background, so that's what he's bringing to the game. He has an extensive background in Muay Thai, so yeah.
And knowing that you've got this fight coming up, you've obviously, as an athlete, you should technically peak right now. This is the day to peak. Are you going to go straight back in, or are you going to take a little bit of time off, knowing that perhaps some of the work has already been done?
Yeah, I'm going to take a couple of weeks where I just train still, but not as much as I used to in the training camp. And then, go back in there and prepare for Mosen.
And when you say not as much, does that mean you're only are you going in once a day? Are you going in twice a day? What does that mean to a champion?
That means just training once a day.
And so what are you going to do with this 2 weeks? Do you say up to 2 weeks? Is it just home, family, friends, food, beer? Is that essentially?
Well, yeah, I'm going to use this opportunity to go visit my family, hang out with some friends that I haven't had time for, and just take my mind a bit of things, and so I can go in there with a fresh mind, a fresh body, and really start the training camp again. Because I'm already in shape, so me taking 2 weeks out may just be better for me. I can feel almost. I've tried a couple of times before that when you take a couple of weeks off, when you get back, you're better because you're more loose, and yeah.
Are you going to use the opportunity to put some of the weight on that you lost for this fight? Is it going to be thoroughly enjoying yourself? Are you still going to be careful about everything that you do?
Well, usually I'm only careful about what I eat and stuff like that. I think that begins 2 weeks before the fight, because when I train for a fight, I get down to my the weight I want to be at. So weight-wise, it shouldn't be a problem.
And does that take a little bit of sort of the suckiness of a full training camp away? Like, as opposed to having to put in 10 weeks, you're probably going to put in 6 for this, 6 full-time weeks, I would imagine. Does it make training does it make things a little bit easier?
It does in a way. I think it's 9 weeks to the fight today. So yeah, it's gonna be a 7-week training camp, but I'm already in shape, so it's good. But yeah, starting out in shape is gonna make it a lot easier.
And you get to come. You're a fan. You're gonna get to watch. What are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm gonna look forward to the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know this will go out later, but we'll put you on the spot. Call it. How do you see the main event going?
Oh, that's a tough one, but I've seen Tony Tower fight a couple of other times, and he's got very good submission skills. So I hope he's gonna submit, but let's see.
Nick, we appreciate you spending some time. The thing that amazes me is your attitude, as always. I mean, I think if I'd lost any weight at all and put myself through 8 weeks, I would be calling for. Was there even a sniff that they might be able to pull a last minute in, or would you just not have been interested?
No, there was no options about anyone jumping in that late. But I'm not sure I'd want that so late, because I'm very strategic in how I approach my fights. So going to a different opponent that late is not the best. Of course, if there was a possibility of an exciting opponent and it all fit together, then maybe, but it kind of suits me fine, and I think I just try to look at the positives.
If we look at the Copperbox card, it was pretty good before.
Yeah.
And now we've got, your title fight, plus your teammate Penny's going to be fighting for the inaugural bantamweight women's title.
Yeah.
So, I mean, training, is that 7-week training camp going to be probably one of the more intense camps you've been part of?
I think so. At least right now, I think so, because I feel pretty fired up, not being able to go in here tonight and show what I wanted to show.
And how's Penny going to do?
She's good, yeah.
She, we spoke to her, and she's got a very high opinion of you, not just as a coach, but as a person. You guys have been tight for a little while. When you have a friend, because I think it's safe to say that's what you guys are, when you have a friend that's stepping in the cage, does a little bit of you go in there with them, or can you separate that?
Yeah, it does, totally. I remember when I fought in Copenhagen and won the title, Damir was fighting 1 or 2 fights before me. And I was, I'd done the most of my warm-up, but was still kind of warming up, but saw his fight in the backstage room, and people told me that I was jumping around like a crazy man when he won. So yeah, when you're out fighting and you have a friend fighting, yeah, a little bit of me go into that fight.
Look out, UK, because the Scandinavians are coming. What was supposed to be a fight tonight has been put off against Mohsen Bahari on November 15th, the Copperbox. Penny Kianzad fights for her title against Agnieszka Niedwitz. We got John McGuire coming back with Brad Wheeler. We got Tom Breeze coming. That card is absolutely stoked. Before we let you go, mate, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any sponsors you'd like to thank who've helped get you ready for this fight, even though, unfortunately, it hasn't happened?
Yeah, of course, my sponsors, Fit for Fight, Adamson's Fisk, Rumble Sports, the crew at Rumble Sports, really, and Dan and my dad from London, you know who you are, guys. Thank you for the help. Yeah, and especially Patrick from my gym, he really took one for the team.
Thank you. Nicolas, it's always a pleasure catching up with you.
You too.
I look forward to finally seeing you work November 15th. It'll be the first. Try not to have that one called off for us, will you?
Yeah, I want to celebrate my 30th birthday with that fight.
Fantastic. Nicolas, thank you so much again. A pleasure talking to you.
You too.
We'll catch you soon.